I thought I had a marketing problem. I wasn't booking clients like I used to. My inquiries were dry. And I kept thinking, maybe I'm not posting enough. Maybe the algorithm hates me. Maybe I just need to show up more on stories. But looking back, there were signs. Signs that had nothing to do with my marketing and everything to do with my website being the weakest link in my business. And once I saw them, I couldn't unsee them. So let me show you what I missed, because if you're experiencing any of these, your website is probably the problem too. Sign number one, I cringed when someone asked for my website link. It wasn't that my site was bad, it just felt behind me. The layout was outdated and it just didn't reflect the kind of transformation I was creating for clients anymore. My site still looked like version one of my business, scrappy, figuring it out. But the work I was doing had evolved. So even though I had grown, my website was still selling the old me. And here's the thing, if you don't feel confident sending people to your website, why would they feel confident hiring you? Sign number two, the only inquiries I got were two words: how much? When that's all people were asking me, I realized they saw me as a commodity. They weren't seeing my process, my value, my expertise, just a price tag. Those inquiries almost never turned into clients who valued my work. I'd lose every single one of them to someone who charged less because they were making the decision based purely on price. I had to get people excited about working with me even before they saw the price tag. My website needed to give them a reason to book besides the price. It had to communicate my value and the results that I created so people would make decisions based on fit and transformation, not who was the cheapest. Sign number three, I kept explaining things that should have been clear. People were asking me over and over the same questions, and I was repeating myself constantly. What was my price, my process, what's included? And I kept thinking, but all of that information is on my website, except people couldn't find it or I wasn't presenting it clearly enough. And I noticed when my website didn't walk people through things naturally, they'd either ghost or assume I wasn't a fit. With my website not communicating clearly, I was doing double the work. Sign number four, people were clicking and then vanishing. I'd check my analytics and see traffic, but my inquiry form was just crickets. Here's what I realized was happening. Someone would see my Instagram, love the vibe, click the link in my bio, and land on a website that looked and sounded like a completely different business. The disconnect was instant and they were gone. It wasn't that my Instagram was wrong or my website was bad. They just didn't match. My brand voice, my visuals, my messaging, they weren't aligned across those platforms. Even referrals from other clients were falling flat because once they'd land on my website, what I was presenting didn't match what other people were telling them, and they got confused. Sign number five, Google had no idea I existed. This was the big one. Google didn't know I was out there, which meant I was missing out on the warmest traffic I could get. People who were actively searching for exactly what I offered. They were typing in things like newborn photographer in Fort Collins or family pictures in Rocky Mountain National Park, and my site wasn't showing up. This wasn't cold traffic that I would have to convince. These were people with their credit card already out looking for me. And because my site wasn't optimized for search, they were finding my competitors instead. Once I realized the problem actually was my website, I did what everyone does. I started throwing solutions at it. I bought a new logo and updated my colors, thinking maybe a fresh look would help. I rewrote my about page, hoping it would sound more personable and relatable. I tweaked the wording on my services pages, trying to explain things more clearly. And I changed my pricing page to talk about the investment, thinking it would feel more high end and aligned with the quality of my. But nothing really changed. Actually, it got worse. People couldn't find my prices and were leaving my site even faster than before, because I was fixing surface level things without understanding what the real problem was. And that's exactly what most business owners do. They think the problem is one thing when really it's something else entirely. So let's talk about the most common misconceptions. Here's what most people think when their website isn't working. First, that they need more traffic. No, you don't need more traffic. You need the right traffic. You could have 10,000 visitors a month, but if they're not your ideal client, it doesn't matter. It's not about volume, it's about targeting. Number two, I need the new logo, new fonts, new colors. And maybe you do, but here's what matters. It's not just about picking new ones, it's about choosing the right fonts and colors that create a first impression that matches your messaging and your offers. Colors and fonts communicate just as much as your words do. When they're not aligned, people feel the disconnect. Your design has to speak the same language as your words. Number three, I need to lower my prices. Oh, this one kills me. When someone says your prices are too high, what they're really saying is they don't see the value. And that's not a pricing problem, that's a communication problem. Then finally, number four, I need to add more to my website. More pages, more information, more calls to action. But the truth is that overwhelm kills conversions. less is more, clarity beats quantity every single time. When I see people adding things to their website, it often ends up kind of like a Frankenstein. Things are confusing and it ends up being harder to find the information that's needed than easier. And we end up with people bouncing even faster. So, again, the issue usually isn't just about how your website looks. The visuals absolutely matter. They create that crucial first impression. But what truly converts is what your site says and how it guides people to take action. When you start connecting the dots, it becomes clear that most business owners don't have a marketing problem. They have a website problem. Because when your website communicates clearly, everything else starts working. Your content, your inquiries, your conversions, all of it. And I know this because since I fixed those exact things on my website, not only did I start getting more inquiries, I started getting better inquiries for people excited to work with me. This meant I got to do more of the work I love to do the most. And now I actually get excited when someone asks for my link. Same business, almost the same design, but completely different results. Your website has one job: tell people what you do, who it's for, and what to do next. If any of these signs feel familiar, I've got a roadmap for you. In my free training, From Overlooked to Fully Booked, I break down exactly why these things happen and how to fix them. You'll learn how to turn your website into a marketing base camp, the place that backs up all of your efforts and gets you found by people who are already searching for what you offer. You don't need a 5K designer to have a site that books clients. You just need the right roadmap. The link is in the description, and I'll see you on the inside.